Hello there, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you ever so much for joining. We're still getting a few people sign up, so we'll just give it a few seconds while everyone gets comfortable and um, make sure sort of their audio and everything like that's working. And then I'll do the introductions and we'll get started. So a warm welcome to everybody. Thanks again for joining. This is our second instalment of our new Strategic Wellbeing webinar series. If you did miss our first session, by the way, there's a recording of that available in the resources section of your Smart Clinic admin client area. So please do feel free to catch up with that anytime that's suitable for you. Very similar format to how we're running today. We always try and keep it to about 30 minutes just to ensure that it doesn't take up too much of your time and it can be easily slotted into what I'm sure will be your very busy working days. So just as a quick introduction for anybody who doesn't know me already, my name's Harry. I'm the company director of Smart Clinic. Most of you will probably know this by now, but we are an occupational health provider, which means that we work with organisations all over the UK to understand and support you and your organisations with any kind of employee-related health issues that they may have. So what's very relevant to that idea, of course, is the concept of helping to promote employee wellbeing through all sorts of excellent management practices and kind of meaningful initiatives that you might implement. So that's why in 2024, we've partnered with People First, who are a specialist provider of employee and manager support training and development programs. Today, we're joined again by the founder of People First, which is Amanda Anderson. Amanda is a fantastically knowledgeable and really inspirational individual as well, actually. So if ever you get the opportunity to pick her brains a little bit, I would well recommend it. She's very interesting. And I'm sure you'll enjoy her input during today's session. As ever with these things, if there's anything that you'd like to discuss, any support that you might be looking to implement within your organisation, any development programmes that you're looking for, Amanda will be only too glad to share her contact details with you, and she can of course have some kind of quick chat with you about any suggestions that you guys could implement within your organisation directly too. Before we do get started, just a very basic bit of housekeeping. We will have everybody on mute and the cameras off during the call, but there is the chat function going, so please do open that up and it will sort of kind of appear on the right hand side of your screen. Use that for any kind of questions that you'd like to ask, any comments you'd like to make, any points you'd like to raise. It's really good to get some good engagement on these sessions. And at the end of the session, we'll also have a little bit of a Q&A as well. So note your questions in that chat as we go along. I'll collate them, and then at the end we'll put Amanda's skills to the test, shall we? So without further ado, I'll hand over to Amanda, who's going to provide you some golden tips for maximising the impact of your wellbeing strategies. Over to you, Amanda.
Thank you very much, Harry, for such an introduction this morning. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for attending today. I know that time is precious, and taking a moment out of your busy day to listen to this webinar may have been a bit tight and a bit of a push. So thank you very much. It was a great introduction from Harry. So thank you to Harry and the team. We are a company that is solely focused on empowering individuals to make a positive impact on the workplace. And for us, that really starts with a focus on well-being and the relationships that we have with others. So over the coming months, as you can see on the screen at the moment, we've developed a range of workplace wellbeing seminars that we're going to do in conjunction with Smart Clinic. So I hope that you can tune in the months to come. But if you do have any particular topics that you feel that would be beneficial, please don't hesitate to either get in contact with myself or Harry and make some suggestions, and we can see whether or not we can support you in the future. So employee wellbeing is crucial, as you'll know, for a thriving workplace. And when supported and valued, employees are engaged, productive, and motivated. Organisations prioritising wellbeing see massive benefits, and this can include increasing productivity, satisfaction, and reducing absenteeism and a better morale amongst their employees. So having robust wellbeing programmes leads to a real competitive advantage. So in today's fast-paced world environments, employee wellbeing is essential for long-term success. And investing in employee health and happiness and prioritising their well-being does set you up for organisational success. And it does start with you attending today's webinar. So we'll explore some practical strategies for enhancing well-being that will help both your individuals and your organisations to strive. Today's is an interactive workshop, so if you do have a piece of paper and a pen handy, you will need it in a moment's time. So let's delve in and discover how we can create a workplace where everybody can thrive. As Harry mentioned, our first webinar last month, we explored 5 common assumptions that are often made about employee well-being. And by reducing these assumptions that we can make, we can provide tailored and strategic support where it's needed most. If you haven't already done so, our first golden tip is to explore the assumptions that you might be making around your employees' well-being skills. In a nutshell, in case you did miss that one, the common well-being skills assumptions that we can make are often around resilience. And we can often assume that employees have the skills to bounce back after setbacks, that they have the skills to handle stress effectively, and that they can adapt to changing circumstances, both in their personal and professional lives. The second is around communication skills. We can often assume that employees can effectively articulate their needs and concerns within the workplace, and that they have the confidence to do so without the fear of being judged. We can also make an assumption that employees can establish effective boundaries between their work and their personal lives, allowing them to maintain their own work-life balance that prevents burnout. The fourth assumption is around stress management, and we can assume that employees can manage stress effectively and handle work-related pressure without being overly affected. Assumptions are often made that employees are aware of their stresses and understand their own early signs of stress and possess the self-care skills needed to address them personally. Which leads on to our last assumption. We can assume that employees are capable of independently managing their own well-being without requiring additional support and resources. We can also assume that they possess the knowledge and that they can engage in behaviours that are essential for maintaining their own physical and mental health effectively. So if you did miss out on this webinar, please check out the People First blog or log on to Smart Clinic, and you can see that recording there. And that can help you as your first golden tip today for getting maximum impact from your teams. Today, our golden tips for maximum impact delve into the crucial role of fostering a supportive workplace environment with a specific focus on the pivotal role that managers play. Imagine a workplace where every voice is heard, where colleagues and managers extend a hand of empathy and understanding. In such an environment, employees don't just feel they're part of a team, they feel that they belong. Emotional support isn't just about boosting morale, it's about creating a shield against stress, fostering mental well-being, and creating a community where individuals can thrive. In a supportive workplace, open communication flows freely, trust is the cornerstone, and collaboration is the norm. By minimizing interpersonal conflicts and reducing job-related stresses, employees are empowered to confront challenges head-on. This not only enhances their resilience, but also builds a more positive and fulfilling work experience for all. When employees feel valued and appreciated, they become unstoppable forces of productivity and creativity. In supportive environments, engagement flourishes, igniting a spark of innovation that propels your organization towards success. By nurturing a culture of recognition and empowerment, we can unlock the full potential of every individual within our teams. Well-being fuels productivity. When employees feel supported, they are motivated, focused, and driven to succeed. Furthermore, supportive workplaces serve as a breeding ground for creativity and innovation, propelling productivity to new heights and driving organizational growth. The impact of supportive workplaces transcends from the confines of the office. By eradicating feelings of isolation, anxiety, and depression, organisations pave the way for better mental health outcomes. This not only boosts job satisfaction, but also enhances overall life satisfaction, creating a ripple effect of positivity that extends far beyond the workplace. Employee well-being isn't just a buzzword, it's a strategic imperative. Organisations that prioritise the welfare of their employees reap the rewards of increased loyalty and also retention. By fostering a sense of belonging and reducing turnover, they not only preserve their most valuable asset, their talent, but also save costs associated with recruitment and training. Flexibility and understanding are the cornerstones of a supportive workplace. By accommodating employees' personal circumstances and commitments and fostering a culture of respect for a work-life balance, organisations lay the foundations for a healthier, more sustainable future where individuals can thrive both personally and professionally. So today we're going to move on to and explore two key themes for maximising impact: the role of your managers and identifying stresses. Let's start by exploring the role of your managers and leaders in fostering a culture of support within their teams. I'd like you to take a moment to picture this. A workplace where managers and leaders aren't just figureheads, but beacons of support and encouragement. In such an environment, employee well-being isn't just a checkbox, it's the beating heart of the organisation. When managers prioritise the happiness and fulfilment of their team members, they sow the seeds of trust, open communication, and psychological safety. It's more than just a job, it's a community where every voice matters, every idea counts, and every individual feels valued, motivated, and supported to give it their all. What's the result? A symphony of satisfaction, productivity that reverberates through the entire team. So let's look at the essential responsibilities of a supportive manager. Effective managers don't just lead, they lift you up. They create a haven where team members can express themselves freely, knowing that they'll be met with empathy, understanding, and a listening ear. In this sanctuary of emotional support, bonds are forged and barriers dissolved, fostering a sense of belonging that transcends the boundaries of the workplace. Collaboration isn't just a buzzword, it's the lifeblood of innovation and progress. Supportive managers break down silos, tear down walls, and build bridges of communication that span across departments and hierarchies. They foster an environment where ideas flow freely, tackled head on, and victories are celebrated as a collective triumph. Let's face it, conflict is inevitable, but in the hands of a skilled manager, it becomes an opportunity for growth and understanding. Supportive managers navigate the choppy waters of disagreement with finesse and tact, ensuring that every voice is heard, every concern is addressed, and every issue is resolved with fairness and respect. In the hustle and bustle of everyday work life, a simple word of appreciation can work wonders. Supportive managers understand the power of recognition and feedback. They sprinkle praise often, and they offer constructive feedback like a guiding light. In doing so, they nurture a culture of continuous improvement, where every success is celebrated and every setback is seen as a stepping stone to greatness. But here's the secret. None of this happens by chance. It takes intention, dedication, and a whole lot of training. And that's why investing in manager wellbeing training isn't just an option, it's essential. By equipping managers with the skills and resources they need to support employee wellbeing effectively, organisations lay the groundwork for a future filled with success, satisfaction, and endless possibilities. Okay, It's now your turn. We're going to complete an exercise to reflect on your current managerial practices. Where are your strengths? Where are your opportunities for growth? And most importantly, what steps can you take today to enhance the support for your whole team's well-being? The journey starts now, so I hope you have a pen and a piece of paper handy. There are a wide range of different areas to explore when we're auditing and reviewing the role of your managers in creating a supportive work environment. Today, we're going to explore 8 key strands that illuminate the role of managers in fostering a culture of support within their teams. Think of it as a roadmap to greatness, with each strand guiding us towards a brighter, more fulfilled future. I'd like to start by asking you to draw the following diagram. On this diagram, you're going to plot your organization's current stands on each of the strands. We're going to use a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being low and 10 being high. Okay. I'm now hoping that you've drawn your diagram, and I'm going to go through a series of questions. And at the end of each of those questions, I'd like you to consider rating your score between 1 and 10, and then placing it on the line that's associated with that strand. The first strand is around understanding well-being. How well do your managers grasp the concept of well-being? Are they equipped to define it, understand its nuances, and champion its importance within your organization? Do they know what great well-being looks like for your organization? Assess their knowledge and set the foundation for a well-being driven culture. Give them a score, 1 low, 10 high, and mark the line, like I've demonstrated on the slide. The second strand is recognizing signs. Can your managers spot the subtle signs of well-being concerns in their team members? How well are they able to identify the common signs that may indicate an employee is experiencing well-being issues? I'd like you to gauge their ability to identify red flags, differentiate between temporary fluctuations and serious issues, and how good they are at offering timely support when it's needed most. What score will you allocate your managers for recognizing well-being signs? Communication is the lifeblood of support. How effectively do your managers navigate well-being conversations? Are they able to apply the key principles around active listening? A manager with excellent active listening skills is someone who demonstrates genuine interest and attention when their direct report speaks. They listen not only to the words being said, but also to the underlying emotions and concerns. Such a manager provides a safe space for open communication, encourages feedback, and validates the perspective of their team members. They ask clarifying questions, paraphrase to ensure understanding, and respond thoughtfully, fostering trust and rapport within their team. The overall impact is the direct report feels respected, appreciated when their manager actively listens to them, leading to an increased job satisfaction and morale. So how would you rate their ability to communicate effectively with their direct reports? Moving on to emotional intelligence. The heart of effective management and leadership lies in emotional intelligence. How attuned are your managers to the emotions of their team members? Do managers actively listen to employees' concerns and are empathetic towards their perspective? How do your managers respond to feedback or criticism from their team members? Are managers able to articulate their emotions effectively, especially in stressful situations? Do your managers demonstrate an understanding of how their emotions impact their leadership style and also their decision making? Do managers demonstrate self-awareness regarding their own strengths, weaknesses, and emotional triggers? So overall, how would you rate their ability to listen, regulate emotions, and lead with authenticity and compassion? Conflict is inevitable, but so is resolution. How apt are your managers at navigating choppy waters, finding common ground, and resolving conflicts efficiently? Are managers skilled at facilitating constructive conversations and restoring harmony within their teams? How quickly do your managers address issues to prevent escalation and maintain a positive work environment? So when thinking about your scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the effectiveness of your managers at facilitating constructive conversations, finding common grounds between employees, and resolving conflict in a fair and respectful manner? Next, we're looking at leading by example. Leaders don't just talk the talk, they walk the walk. So how well do your managers lead by example when it comes to well-being? How do they communicate with their team members about the importance of prioritizing their well-being? How do your managers use their role in promoting work-life balance, supporting their direct reports in managing stress, and foster a culture of self-care and support? Again, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do your managers role model effective well-being behaviours and skills? In times of uncertainty, true management and leadership shines brightest. Are your managers equipped to navigate in crisis and provide swift support to their teams? How do managers manage change or uncertainty, both within the workplace and their individual teams? Are your managers prepared to effectively respond to crisis, impacting employee well-being? And how do you guide them to provide immediate support and coordinate this assistance? In summary, how equipped are they to lead with resilience, compassion, and agility in the face of uncertainty? Lastly, trust is the cornerstone of every successful team. How effectively do your managers cultivate strong, supportive relationships with their team members based on trust and mutual respect? Do managers foster a positive work environment that encourages open communication and collaboration amongst team members? How do your managers support and motivate their team members, considering their individual emotions and also their needs? So lastly, how would you rate your managers in their ability to intentionally build effective relationships for success? Now that you've marked all 8 areas, I'd like to ask you to join up the marks. When you reflect on your diagram, what do you notice? What are your areas of strength? What are your opportunities for growth? What would you like your diagram to actually look like? By auditing and reviewing the role of your managers and combining this with intentional actions, you can unleash the potential of effective leadership in cultivating a workplace culture that prioritizes employee well-being, fosters positive relationships, and drives organizational success. Equip your managers with the skills and resources for empathetic and supportive conversations. Clear guidance on supporting well-being, communication skills, conflict resolution techniques, and emotional intelligence training can all help. Early recognition of well-being signs, proactive intervention, and fostering open communication are essential components of their toolkit. Additionally, empowering managers to lead by example in promoting work-life balance, providing support for stress management, and creating a supportive work environment that encourages growth, collaboration, and recognition of achievements can all help. The second and final golden tip today is around understanding the origins of stress. This empowers employers to manage and mitigate stresses, fostering balance and resilience in the workplace. Proactive employers conduct regular audits and assessments to pinpoint stress and then take actions to mitigate it. If you are thinking about common sources of stress within your workplace, you may have come up with a list, as I've stated on the slide. People First has created a quick employer reference guide to help you navigate this journey, which you can utilize in more detail after this webinar. It highlights 10 most common themes to enable you to reflect on how you might mitigate stress within your workplace environment. I appreciate that time on this webinar is now tight, but we're going to have a very quick look at workload in more detail. Imagine a workplace where employees feel empowered, motivated, and supported to manage their tasks and deadlines. Heavy workloads, tight deadlines, and unrealistic expectations can often lead to feelings of overwhelm and pressure, impacting not only productivity, but also employee well-being and a work-life balance. If we prioritize task management and time efficiency, we can provide employees with training on how to prioritize their time and to have time management strategies. And this empowers employees to organize their workload efficiency and mitigate burnout. We can't assume that employees have the knowledge and the skills to manage their time effectively. By completing regular workload assessments, we can have a look to see if tasks are evenly distributed between our teams and dedicated to employees that have the capacity and skill level. And this can often foster a sense of fairness and reduce the risk of workload overload. Regular check-ins with managers and employees are invaluable. These meetings offer opportunities to discuss workload concerns, provide supportive feedback, and address any challenges proactively. And let's not forget the power of recognition and appreciation. Celebrating employees' achievements and milestones reinforces their value and their contribution to the team, boosting morale and motivation. By understanding what's causing stress, we can take actionable steps and transform our workplaces into one where employees feel supported, motivated, and empowered to thrive against the challenges that they have. I appreciate, Harry, that time is tight, so I've just gone through that last slide, and it was around just hoping that everybody that's been listening has some form of takeaway that they can note down or some form of action that they can then lead with. But if you are able to stay for a couple of questions, it would be beneficial, but I do appreciate that time is tight. I'll hand it back over to Harry. Have we got any questions?
Yeah, absolutely. We're bang on 12:30, so perfectly timed, Amanda. We'll maybe stay for another 4 or 5 minutes just to go through a couple of questions, but if you do have to leave, we completely appreciate it. And thank you so much for joining us. As I say, the recording will be shared, so if you did want to review back on any of this, by all means, you'll be more than welcome to. Amanda, one for you, a question that was actually shared with me prior to the session on sign up. it revolves around crisis response, which I think is a really interesting subject. Something that you mentioned right at the beginning of this session was that well-being shouldn't just be a buzzword, which of course is true. Also, in smart clinics, something that we observe quite frequently is sort of the concept for it being a little bit of a tick box exercise as well when it comes to making sure people have something well-being-y in place and then not giving it too much more thought. Never, I think, is that more at its sort of most obvious when there's a crisis of some sort, in particular mental health crisis, but in fairness, probably any crisis would fall under that category. Amanda, from your point of view, are there any steps that you think an organisation can do to ensure that managers are well prepared to respond with such a crisis that may possibly impact on an employee's well-being?
My first thought goes to, I'm a big proactive believer in deliberate practice, like actually going through scenarios and giving managers the confidence in a safe space to have a go at how they would deal with a crisis that comes through, because it can happen at any moment. So that they've had a go, had a practice. I mean, a lot of people go against doing role play scenarios, but actually being able to have a practice conversation in a safe space where somebody can give you feedback and that you can effectively replay that scenario over and over again really can empower leaders and managers to have that skill set and also the confidence to move forward. And providing them with resources so that they feel like they know how to deal with that situation and how to respond. Some organisations have a set procedure that they would like their employees to signpost employee assistance programs, or maybe some other additional resources that they might have on an intranet that they can share.
Thank you. And I've got one other question that was sent to me for you, Amanda, as well before this session, which very much I think is related to what you talked about there as well, which is sort of the concept of leading by example, which we all know we should be doing, and it's all very important to do. And you do sometimes hear the do as I say, not as I do expression, which we're probably all guilty of once in a while. But from your point of view, in terms of leading by example, is there anything that you think managers could be doing or should be doing, or any way that we can encourage managers to sort of be the pioneer of sort of a well-being focused culture?
I mean, for me, a culture really starts with the top. So trying to get a senior leadership team buy-in that they're proactively supporting any initiatives moving forwards. My second thought goes to putting well-being on the agenda, having conversations about it, and every individual can have an impact here. It's small little steps about just talking about it, having a conversation. It might be whatever your role is that you're tuning into today, having regular check-ins with people and, starting that conversation. A lot of the time we can ask people, how's your day going, or are you okay? And the simple answer can very quickly be yes. But changing those sorts of sentences to, what's your biggest challenge today, really can open up a conversation and spark a little bit more interest. And then I would really advocate having initiatives and bringing people around to discuss those, maybe having a working party and getting people involved. What would they like to be part of? How would they like to drive well-being forward within the organisation, so they feel that they can engage in something and empower them to take it forward. And then hopefully people will then join in.
Yeah, I love that idea of asking open-ended questions. I used to deliver a session on something very similar to that, and the tip that I've always implemented that I think works really well is the concept of asking twice. So when you ask somebody, "How are you?" which is the stock question, what's the stock response? "I'm fine, thanks. How are you?"
Fine, I'm fine.
"I'm okay, fine, I'm good, thanks. How are you?" It's a relatively
Yeah.
meaningless answer. if you ask the question again in a second way, not a way that undermines your belief of their initial answer, but a way that explores the conversation a little bit further, you will often find that the second answer to the second question you've asked, albeit even if it's the same question, actually is a little bit more revealing. Real basic ways you can do that. How was your weekend? How's that problem going that you told me about the other day? How the family? You got any plans for this evening? How's your day going so far? As Amanda says, much more open-ended questions, and you're always going to get a more revealing answer the second time round, which I think is a really simple tip that I've always tried to implement that helps you to sort of lead by example a little bit as well.
I think Harry, I would actually add on to then the question, anything else? So, even if somebody then stops, anything else, because sometimes you think you finished, and then as soon as somebody goes anything else, you go, oh yeah, and it triggers something in your mind. So yeah, I'd add that as well.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's probably all we've got time for today. I appreciate we've run a little bit over, so thank you so much to those that have stuck with us for the extra few minutes too. It's been a really interesting session, so a big thank you to you, Amanda, for joining us and for partnering with Smart Clinic as well. It's been great to have you along. Just a reminder, we do have a series of upcoming sessions as well, which Amanda will also be joining us for. There was a slide right at the beginning of this that showed the dates, and we do tend to email people around with the dates as well. So please do feel free to join for any of those. We would absolutely love to see you again. In the meantime, thank you again for joining. I'm Harry. You're very welcome to contact me if you have any questions. Same goes for Amanda, and we'd be delighted to work more with you going forwards should you ever need any support as well. That's all from me. Any further thoughts from you, Amanda, before we disappear?
No, it's been a pleasure, and all the materials will be shared with you shortly.
Thanks so much, everyone. Take care and have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.